Hey everyone, my name's Jodie. I'm here with Club Calisthenics. We're going to do some hand balance exercises today. And so we're going to start out with a brief warm-up. I have Nicholas here with me. He's going to be my demo, and hopefully you guys enjoy it. So we're just going to jump right in. We're going to just start with a very easy warm-up. So for this workout today, you actually don't need anything other than just some space to be able to do some handstands. If you're on a carpet, you might want a handstand board. Otherwise, if you have like a flat surface, that might be good. Yoga mats will be nice as well if you are on wood or concrete, because we're going to do some knee drills, and so it might save your knees and ankles at that time. So let's get started with the warm-up though. We're going to just start with some easy neck circles. We're going to do about 6 in each direction, just to kind of get some blood flowing. We're going to switch directions, go to the left. Look down a little bit, look up to the ceiling. Look down again. Up one more time. All right, let's move into the shoulders. Start with your right arm, go in some big wide circles, reaching your arm forward, and then up to the sky, and then back behind you. 3, 4, 5, 6. And now let's do the same arm forward. 1, 2. And again, you're reaching really far back and then super high up, and then you're protracting your shoulders forward. 4, 5, 6. All right, let's go to the left. Left arm back. 1, 2, 3, 4. As you're doing these, you want to try and keep your rib cage facing forward as much as possible. So you don't want to do this. You want to just make sure all the movement's coming from your shoulder. And then forward with your left arm for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now we're going to do some swimmers. So arms front to back. I'm going to let Nicholas do that in case it's loud for everybody. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now we're going to go for some German arm swings. So your right arm is going to come overhead, left arm overhead. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All righty, now we're going to go for some hip circles. Slowly working our way down. So we're going to do 6 in one direction and 6 in the other direction, or about 6. Every now and then I lose count. So. All right, switch directions. 1, 2. You should feel a hamstring stretch in the back, maybe a little bit of your hip flexors in the front. 4, 5, 6. So we're going to do some trunk circles. So you're going to have your upper body is going to fold forward down your left side, kind of hanging loosely down the middle. You're going to come up your right side, arch back in whatever way that feels comfortable, and then back down to the left. For 2. We're going to go to 6. 3. 4. 5. 6. Once we get to the top, we're going to go down the right side for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, one more, 6. Alrighty, so from here, you're going to keep your legs apart. And we're going to just do a forward fold to stretch out our straddle a little bit. So just lean over. We're going to just do some bounces down the center. Do about 10 to 15 bounces. You can sway side to side if that feels good. Just make sure you're feeling a nice stretch up the back of your knees. Alrighty, now we're going to do more of a static hold, so just keep your head down and think about the very top of your head like you're trying to touch the floor in front of you. So just squeeze down. This is working a little bit of compression. You should feel it in your hips right here, really squeezing you towards the ground. All right, now walk your feet together into a pike. So we're going to do a forward fold in our pike, and we're going to just start with some bounces. Do 10 to 15 bounces just to kind of warm up. You can pedal your legs a little bit if that feels better. And you're trying to bring your chest to your knees, not necessarily, you can bring your head to your knees for a deeper stretch, but the majority of it is you want the fold to come from your waist. So you're trying to get your chest as close to your knees as possible. Now we'll do a static hold where you can try and bring the top of your head down to the floor. And hold for 3, 2, 1. Now we're going to go down to our knees. Since we are going to do some knee drills today, we're going to go ahead and stretch our ankles a little bit. So we're just going to start with on your knees, with your right foot or your right leg. You're just going to pull your knee up to your chest, whatever is most comfortable. If the flexibility isn't quite there, you can just pull your knee up so that you're getting a little bit of flexion. But if you do have very stretchy ankles, then you can pull it higher to your chest for a deeper stretch. Just going to hold this for a second. Now we're going to switch to the left leg. All right. Now, it's always very important to stretch wrists before we do anything, so we're going to go ahead and get that over with in our warm-up. So, in a tabletop position with your fingers forward, palms down, we're just going to start with some rocks forward. We're going to do about 8 to 10. I'm not very good at talking and counting, so if I don't do exactly that, but that's kind of what we want the gauge to be. And then we will do palms down, fingers back. So reset. And then again, 8 to 10 bounces in this position. And then we will do palms up, fingers back. And so again, the farther your hands are from your knees, the deeper the stretch will be. So if you're up here, it'll be much less of a stretch versus if you do have very flexible wrists, the farther back, the deeper it will be. And you always want the eye of your elbow turned forward. So right here, We don't want it like this. We want to turn it out as much as we can. And then shoulders away from the ears. So we will do palms up, fingers forward. Sometimes it feels nice to make fists with your hands. So you can just squeeze your hands super tight and closed, and then open, and squeeze closed, and open, squeeze closed, open, and one more. Now, for those who are a bit more advanced at handstands, sometimes when we bail out, we twist. And so it's always great to stretch that twisty motion. So we're going to do our fingers in stretch. So yeah. So flexibility dependent. You want to put your pinkies in as close as they can. Again, shoulders away from your ears, and just wherever you feel the stretch. You should feel it up the side right here. You can rock, you can hold it, because this is a bit of an intense stretch. And then the last one for wrists is in the opposite direction. Sometimes this is difficult, but you're going to think thumbs out. So if you put both of your hands facing forward and you push your thumbs together and away from each other, they're going to then be facing you. Yes. Mm-hmm. All right, so hopefully everybody feels warm. Now, we mentioned that today we're going to be working on hand balance, and so we're going to be doing some knee drills. And so the first round of knee drills is just going to, we're just gonna load the shoulders because we wanna make sure that we're nice and warm before we get fully upside down with all of our weight bearing. So the first drill is going to be from our knees. We're going to, so again, with all of these drills, the way that you want to start is on your knees. You want both of your hands next to your knees, and you want to go ahead and have your wrists and your shoulders stacked, and then you want to protract your shoulders. So we don't want to start like this because we're already in a bad position for our hands. So with all of our knee drills, it's a really great to just go ahead and set yourself up for success. So the position that you want to be in are shoulders protracted, and then shoulders over your wrists, and then your knees between your hands. So for the first drill, we'll go from our knees into just a pike hold. Toes on the ground, all we're doing is loading the shoulders and putting all the weight in our hands. So good, just like Nicholas just did. Nicholas, do you want to turn to the side and show the side view of it? So push and back down. And we're going to do this 3 reps. So 2, 3. All right, so the next drill is going to be a stag. So it's the same concept, but when we push up, we're going to have one of our knees bent, and we want that bent leg to be as tight to our chest as possible. So we're going to do 1 stag and down, 2 and down, 3 and down. And so as Nicholas is doing this, he's putting all of the weight in his shoulders, and when he's upside down, he's really pushing away from the floor. So that's the best position to be in. Good. So we're switching legs, and he's on 2 and 3. So just kind of shake out your wrists, roll your shoulders around, take a couple of breaths. We're going to do that one more time. If that felt challenging to you and that's where you need to stay, then we're going to do another round just like that, where you just keep your toes on the ground and you're just loading your shoulders. If that felt easy and you want to advance on this next round, you can try and do a slight float on all the movements. And so what that looks like is, if we're doing the pike, we're going to push into the pike, and then with a little bit of, go back to your knees. So with a little bit of momentum, you'll have a slight float once you get to the top. So you can push, good. And again, Good. So because compression is super important, sometimes whenever you do the float, as long as you can keep, you build the most strength, the closer you keep your feet to the ground when you do the float. So when you push up, yeah. So you're pushing up, you have a slight float, lots of compression, back down. And so we're gonna do 3 sets. And again, those at home, if the first round was good for you, stay there. We're gonna repeat that. But if you want something a bit more challenging, we're gonna move into the second set. So Nicholas is gonna do a slight float for the pike. Ready? 1, 2, and you can do it a bit slower and a bit more controlled. 3, good. Now we're gonna do 1 stag. Ready? Go for it. 1, good. 2, and 3, good. Your quads actually should be burning as well, believe it or not. So we're gonna switch legs for 1, 2, and 3. Good. So for those of you at home, we can take a quick break if you want to grab some water. And then we're going to move into our second set of the knee drills. We're going to go from our knees into a straddle and then from our knees into a tuck. And so we'll also have progressions for the more advanced students or those who are just learning how to do handstands. We'll definitely have some modifications for you as well. You ready? So like I previously mentioned, we're going to go into a straddle. So for when you do tuck to straddle, well, knees to straddle, it's very easy to want to go just straight into your straddle handstand. But again, you work the most in your compression when you keep your toes as close to the ground as possible. So for the straddle, we're going to go from our knees, jump, barely touch our toes, and then back down. So there's a slight hover before my toes touch and then back down. And so as controlled as possible, again, we want everything to be very controlled, and that's a great way to build your stability. So straddle, we're gonna go for 3. 1, 2, and 3. So again, Nicholas is very strong, so he can even get a little bit of that float. If you're at home and you're just kind of starting, the most important thing is just to go straddle and then back down. So you don't even have to have that float at all. Yes. So again, this is where the yoga mat is nice if you are on a hard surface. So the next drill is a tuck to a tuck handstand if you have it, but we're not going to go there for beginners. We're going to start with just working on like a tuck planche. So from your knees, for the beginners, we're just going to push and then try to have some hang time before we come back down on our knees. If you are feeling confident and you do have a tuck, you're going to go as high as you feel comfortable and then come back down. So, and you don't necessarily have to hang out in your tuck handstand. But so from your knees, you'll jump into your tuck and then come back down. And again, a great practice is to always concentrate on the negative.
Is there 2 rounds or do I have 2 choices?
You have 2 choices and there are 2 rounds. Right. So for this second drill, we're just going to go do the first regression. 1, 2, 3. Good. So kind of roll your shoulders out, make sure your ankles feel okay. Take a deep breath. And then we're going to go into our second round. And again, the first one is the tuck to straddle. And so this time you can do the hover if you feel confident in that. Otherwise, stay with just the toe tap and back down. So we'll go for 3. 1. So as close to the ground as possible. Low straddle, but hover. 2, good. 3, good. All right, so this time I'm gonna have Nicholas go into the tuck handstand that he's most comfortable with. If you're not comfortable here yet, don't even try. If you would like to try, if you're comfortable getting up but you're worried about going over, this is something that you can do up against the wall. I feel, maybe you can't do this up against the wall. I know, you might hit your head. Okay, maybe we don't want to try this up against the wall because we're starting from our knees, but there will be other videos that we do where we'll work on tuck handstands, and the entry will be different, and so we'll be able to get you guys into a tuck handstand for those who want to make this transition. This is just probably not the time to do that. So we are going for, the tuck handstand. Knees to tuck. Good. Concentrate on a slow negative. Very nice. 1. It's a great bail. 2. And 3. So, Nicholas has a lot of power this morning.
I'm ready to go.
So again, with that one, if you're trying to improve your technique or you want to improve your control, you want to squeeze your knees to your chest as much as possible when you're in that tuck handstand. And that definitely, there's a mobility component to it, but going ahead and having that mindset will help you progress in your practice. So we kind of already did this. Huh? And then when you, if you are super advanced and you're able to stick your handstand, let's see if I have it today. That's not quite it because my shoulders are closed. That's where you want to be. All right, take a quick break and then we will come back. Grab some water if you'd like. We have, because this is balance, we're going to practice some kick-ins. So make sure that you have some space wherever you are. Animals are clear of the floor. There aren't any lamps to knock over. And we're going to just start with some normal kick-ins. And again, because we're working on our balance, with all of our kick-in drills, we want to try and find a little bit of hang time when we get to our handstand. Do you want to use the yoga mat for this?
Doesn't matter.
Okay, so we're going to start, like, again, just kick-ins. And we're going to do them 2 ways. We're going to both do kick-ins where we start with our arms up and our legs forward, stepping into it, and then we're also going to do it where our hands are already planted on the ground, and then we kick in that way. It's really great to practice different entries because it helps condition your body to be able to stabilize under different circumstances. So let's go for, we're going to do 6 kick-ins. We're going to do 3 with the right leg and 3 with the left leg. So right leg forward, and I'm just going to make sure that you don't go over. Whichever leg forward you want to start with. But yes, hands up. Good. So he found some hang time. And again, Nicholas has a pretty good handstand hold and step out. You want to just kind of find that hang time and then you can come down. If you are practicing up against a wall, that's okay. Just make sure that you can, put your hands, well, yeah, so obviously you'll put your hands a little ways from the wall when you put them down to kick in, but you can do the same thing up against the wall. And back down. And that can be your safety net in case you go over. So, same leg, 2 more.
Did I do the same leg?
I'm not sure. Very good balance. 2.
I don't think I used the same leg.
3. So, Nicholas, in a good handstand, Nicholas is working on opening his shoulders. We'll show you in the next one.
Right.
Good. So he's pushing tall through his shoulders. He's opening them as much as he can. And then he has his belly button tucked in, and he has PPT, which means that his hips are tucked under. Good. So in your handstand, you're pushing tall through your shoulders, your bum is nice and tight, you're squeezing your hips, and everything is in that line, and you're looking between your hands. Just a reminder for all of our newbies out there. Good. And he's finding that hang time every time, which is great. And was that 4?
I think so.
All right. 5. Good. 6. Very good. Great job. Okay. So, take a deep breath. The next drill we're going to go into is we're going to do 6 kick-ins with our hands already planted. Again, depending on what your typical practice is, one entry is going to be more difficult than another in terms of finding your balance. I typically kick in from standing, so when my hands are planted, it's a bit more difficult for me to find my balance. And so we're going to, with your hands down, whichever leg is most comfortable, you're going to just kick one leg up, find that balance, and then step out. And then we're going to do that for each leg. So again, 3 on one leg, 3 on the other, with your hands planted. You want to take a deep breath? Or you feel good?
I want to do both.
Alrighty, so we're going to go for hands planted kick-ins. 1, that's okay, that's an attempt. 2. So with these, if you're just getting into handstands, it can be very tiring to try and find hang time. So we're not trying to be in the handstand every single time. This is more so for advanced students who are continuing to challenge themselves. If you're just getting inverted, you just are trying to get into that handstand and then you can come down, or even if you're like kicking briefly and coming right back down, that's okay as well. And also, you don't have to have a spotter. I'm here just, to make sure that he doesn't go over, just for the sake of time also. But, you can always have, your partner or a friend or whoever is in quarantine with you, helping you so that you don't go over. You can also use a wall. Good. Was that 6? Okay, very good. Alrighty, so what we would like to do now is typically, I encourage the beginners to continue another round of the 6 kick-ins, each leg standing, and the 6 kick-ins with your hands planted. The knee drills are great for the more advanced students who want to practice their hand balance in different shapes. And so we're going to just quickly go through, like I said, I encourage the beginners to do that exact same round, 6 kick-ins standing, 6 kick-ins, hands planted. And then for people who want a bit more of a challenge, there is a sequence you can go through, and we won't do too many, but yeah, let's grab the yoga mats. And we're just going to go through a sequence where you do from your knees, you're going to do a straddle handstand hold, and then you can actually even go from a pike into sort of like a pike press, but with momentum. So I'm going to pull this back a little bit. Nicholas, would you like to demo the knee to straddle hold? And so he's actually going to, depending on your mobility, you might have a very low straddle or you might have a high straddle. So Nicholas is going to do a high straddle because he feels more confident there. Good. So that is a great drill. And the drill is fantastic because you're already set up for success, like I mentioned, because your hands and your shoulders are in the right place in your handstand when you start from your knees. Good. And then we've already done the tuck, so we did that previously. So a good sequence would be like knee to tuck, knee to straddle, and then the knee to the pike. Do you want to demo the pike or would you like me to?
I would love
For me to? Yeah. All right. Yeah, make sure I don't go over. So again, if you haven't tried this, I would recommend having a partner help you because sometimes you can have momentum that just makes you go right over. So you're going to go from your hands and knees. You're going to push up into that pike float, and then you're just going to have a little bit more momentum to go into the handstand. So let's see. Just like that. Alrighty, so again, for the sake of time, the advanced students can do a couple rounds of 2 to 3 of each of those, the tuck, the straddle, and then the pike. And then we're going to go ahead and move into our cool down. So it's always a great practice to stretch out your wrist after you've done a hand balance workout. So we'll start with palms up, fingers back. And this can be a static hold because we're telling our body that we're done working out, it's time to relax. You can kind of just lean into the stretch. And again, shoulders away from your ears. And we'll do palms down, fingers forward. And then palms down, fingers facing you. And then again, we'll go ahead and do the inner wrist or the twisty wrist. Pinkies in.
like I need to anchor his hands.
And then one more of the weird thumb in one. We'll have to come up with a name for this.
To the few people who can do it.
All right, we'll do a quick shoulder stretch. So we'll do the, yes, capsule stretch. So you're gonna do right arm across your chest, left arm over, and you're just reaching as far forward with this left arm as possible. Take some deep breaths because you did a great workout and now you get to calm down and enjoy the rest of your day. You can think through what was difficult for you, what you excelled at, what drill you liked, what drill you didn't like. And it's always good to reflect on your practice. So let's switch hands, switch arms. All right. So that's all that I have for you. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I hope that you enjoyed the practice and we will see you next time.